What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks in the MLB streets. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you can become apprised whenever great information is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods, my friends. It's starting to get heated up. We threw the round robin parlay again into the Discord here. I'm just starting to record. We got 2 of the 8 already, so that's fun. Soto yard, that wasn't too hard. Kyle Tucker yard, not too hard either. We'll talk about them both today, that's for sure. We've only got, 7 baseball games? Is that correct, Jacob? 7 baseball games I just broke down? Oh my goodness gracious. It is a wild times though, but we are just absolutely having a blast there in that premium Discord. If you'd like to sign up and join in on the fun, again, one-on-one on locks, but I had way more on that over of 7.5. Posted the screenshot. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that lock. At least ended up explaining that I had more money on that one than the Philadelphia one, which was a huge disappointment. Way to go, guys. Chris Bassett, apparently he's a stud. But join that premium Discord. You sign up down below at the link. Fire it up. Graphic, Odd Shopper, all the things. It's beautiful. $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly. Promo code Lindy. Yeah, promo code Lindy. Great opportunity. 20% off then. That's $12 for your first week. Would love to see you there, friends. And with that, producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. Game number 1. We're heading actually a little, it's like morning baseball. It's about 1:10 Eastern, 10:10. Yeah, it'll be an interesting one to watch. I'll be watching, that's for sure. I mean, it's kind of my job too. But Slade Ciccone going up against Hunter Green here in this one. And Slade Ciccone, so far, pretty damn good stuff from him. 44 batted balls in play, 247 xWOBA, 179 expected batting average. Lovely, but my guy, Hunter Green, friends, this dude is really starting to turn it on, and he's always had the stuff. It's never been a question about the stuff. He's 24 years of age. He's been in the league now for 3 years. The league, the association, Major League Baseball. No, the league. It's the league to me. Anyway, 2.42 expected ERA. That would be by far his best. 4 in 2022, 3.82 in 2023. Again, this does take into account that like a neutral ballpark, so you got to take some context here. We are in Cincinnati, and that's why we see a 9.5 total. It's going to be warmer out there in the Northeast, but at the same time, I really find this to be an intriguing under to start off your day. So I ended up putting a small little play on it. I think you should be joining along for the party. Both of these teams, a little bit underwhelming at the moment. Again, ended up taking a look at a couple of different props here. Nothing's really standing out to me yet until we get these K props. So I really like the under, but it's going to be something I'm just thinking about. But I ended up putting a small play on it already. If you guys want to join the like party on that one, enjoy. And number 2, another, well, again, it was lean before I ended up betting it and forgot to tell producer Jacob because I'm the worst. But anyway, it is what it is. Seattle, Minnesota here in this spot. This is the very first thing that I ended up betting. I was waiting for a 7. I was like, please don't say 6.5. Please don't. There we go. We got Logan Gilbert and Pablo Lopez. Both of these individuals very, very good at the pitching. Now, I haven't talked about range of outcomes all that much when it comes to totals here. And one of the things that I had an issue with, because I do think a lot of the sharper bettors that I know have been profitable at totals for a long time. And for me, I feel like it kind of gets carved out by them earlier on in the process. And I was trying to figure out, what am I missing? Why am I not so good at the totals? And why am I better with money lines? Well, betting the night before, that might be one part of it where, they're maybe betting at different times throughout the day. But the other part of this is that 7, 9, 11 range of outcomes. Those are your 3 most likely finishing scores, but there are lots of lower numbers within that range of outcomes, and it all depends upon whether, and it depends upon who's getting the bulk of the innings. And Minnesota bullpen, Seattle pretty decent bullpen. I think this is a spot where you just look at the starters and you got to be interested in the under. Now, it won't be a lock purely because it's 7, and it gets a little bit dicey when you talk about some of the solo shot potential that exists on both of these teams to just accumulate a little bit here, a little bit there. If you run into a spot where, you don't have necessarily Logan Gilbert or Lopez with their best stuff, the other one can kind of carry them at 7, but at least it's not 6.5. That would have been a disaster and a just complete stay away. But Gilbert, 212 expected batting average. Pablo Lopez, 214. Pretty amazing stuff. 28.2% K rate for Gilbert, 30.2% K rate for Lopez. Both of them are going to have great opportunities to run that ladder up in terms of Ks too. So I'm going to be taking a look at those. Again, K-props have been smashing here for me for the last 2 weeks or so, last week and a half for sure. And I'm sure I'll find a ladder somewhere here. If you want to jump into that premium Discord, find out. Again, promo code Lindy, 20% off, gets you it for $12. $12 to come hang out with me. Plus, I'm fun, right? Don't answer that. Don't. Yeah, no, we can go. Oh, yeah, 20% off. I'm fun. I'm a fun guy. I like the game of baseball. Sorry, just had to throw that in there for the people as we head to Coors Field. And I got to throw this out there. Weather is a thing here. It looks wet. It looks gross. The wind's blowing in around 15, 20 miles per hour in spots. But these are two atrocious pitchers that are on the mound, and it freaks me out a little bit. Because I am kind of entertaining in over still. That's how bad that they are. And I mean, the Colorado offense is still pretty terrible. But Keaton Winn, Cal Quantrill back to his days in Cleveland. I used to pick on him all the time. He'd have these random games where he had a feel for his cutter, had a feel for his split finger, and it would just get ridiculous. But for the most part, this season is kind of what you get. It's just always been this way. Low K rate, 15.5%, like low K rate. Keaton Winn's at 20.3%. That's not good, but 5% lower to Cal Quantrill. And now you get San Francisco with a bunch of lefties. Now, Jorge Soler is on the IL here, but again, the lefties, Yastrzemski, Holy, Conforto, Wade Jr., all of them hanging out, all of them ready to launch against this individual in the event that this game actually plays. But again, I'm probably going to be staying away from it purely because of that weather. You know, just looks grimy and gross. And we have so much baseball this season. I won't feel bad if this goes, 7-5 and I just wasn't a part of it. I mean, you always hate to miss out on bets, but yeah, this will not be a bet for me. This is very fun. We've got an emerging stud, the guy with the no-hitter and the guy who's just been absolutely blanking people. Blanco. Yeah, there you go. Blanking Blanco. Ronel Blanco going up against Marcus Stroman, who's had a pretty good season, minus a couple of things that are alarming to me. Let's start with Blanco. 179 expected batting average, 284 expected slugging. Really great stuff, like ace potential type stuff. If Houston's going to go on a run and get themselves back into this AL West or just the AL in general, they need to start having everybody else do what Ronel Blanco's doing to some extent. This guy's one of the best stories in baseball. Really happy for him. Only 93.6 mile per hour fastball, but for me to not pull the trigger on a Soto prop right now is saying something. So just want to throw that out there. As for Stroman, here's the alarming stuff. 12.4% walk rate. Not loving seeing that here at this point in time because, well, it hasn't really stabilized. And the other part, his fastball velocity is down a mile per hour year over year. Yeah, a mile per hour. When I saw that, again, he's been getting by on just being a smart pitcher, but now the expected ERA started to catch up. 4.23. It's pretty close to the 4.27 he had last season. This is a guy who just is out there competing every single time. That's kind of been his MO his entire major league career, but I generally like to pick on guys like that when you get the price to do so. And Ronel Blanco is definitely the better pitcher, plus 110 between the two in terms of stuff. But Stroman's been around the block here in some spots, and this Yankees offense, I just don't feel like picking on. So let's go to the home run market to try to pick on Stroman here. Only a 5.2 degree average launch for him this season, but there is going to be an opportunity to fire up Mr. Kyle Tucker just about at every single turn. Kyle Tucker inside of plus 300 has been almost all the time, and I've been firing it up anyway because I think it's positive EV. This is somebody who has 45 homer potential if everything clicks, and he's one of my favorite players in baseball. Him and Alvarez for the last 2 years, I've just been preaching about playing them together in like all of these matchups. Plus 250 or better, just put a home run on the card. Just keep doing it. Yankee Stadium, favorable. Houston money line, I'd think about it, but again, wanted to give people who, it's only 7 games. I'm not going to force Houston money line, but if you really, really want it, I think that's the favorable side of it. I would want better than plus 120 to pull the trigger, though. Pull the trigger on this no matter what, though. BetMGM, friends, one of the best books out there. You go to the link below, you sign up, and when you do, you deposit $50. You deposit $100. You could deposit up to $1,500, and if you play that first bet for $1,500, or again, $50, $100, whatever that first bet is, if it doesn't win, you get it back in bonus bets. That's an amazing opportunity, my friends. So a first bet safety net, basically an easier way of saying, hey, you bet this. If it doesn't win, congratulations, get it back in bonus bets, fire up some goodies as a result. So really great opportunity from a great sports book. Sign up at the link below. Only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. Now, part of being locked in right now is that I am showing a little bit of restraint. I'm showing a little bit of restraint in some good spots. It's not just hitting bets, because we've been hitting bets now for the last week. It has been hot. Now, The locks in spots still, I don't want to be hovering around 500. I'm a little bit above. As far as the likes go, it's been a smash. But I think these are the kind of spots where it's like this can go one way or the other. And I think this is just going to end up being on the card anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to bet it anyway. It is what it is. Making it a like, it is what it is. We've got Eric Fetty. 222 expected batting average is just good enough. 25% K rate. No idea where that came from. And so I worked through his pitch mix, trying to figure out exactly what's going on for this guy that I just make fun of and do a Boy Meets World joke about and have for years. Velocity's down a mile per hour. I don't know what to make of why he is pitching so well, but sinker, sweeper, going through some of the pitch mix, seeing what he's doing. Nothing is all that impressive. It's 2 years, basically. 2 years ago, we saw all this stuff. I mean, his usage is almost identical across the entire board. So I don't know what to make of it. You don't know what to make of it. We don't know what to make of it. But just keep me a elite sample size and pick on him when you at least have a decent enough pitcher to be able to pick on him against. And that is where we end up talking about Mr. Ben Lively. 44.4% hard hit, not great. 18.2 degree average launch angle, not great. But 28.6% K rate for him, and he gets Cleveland up to the plate here against Fetty, somebody who I've been picking on for years. I got to just pull the trigger blindly. And again, I want to show restraint in some of these other spots, like the Houston money line. I want to show restraint in spots like at the top of the show where, it's like, hey, it could go both ways where it's just barely on the side of expected value. But with just 7 games in play, I'm willing to pull the trigger here. So again, this is one of those where if you like the Houston money line more, it's only about a 3-4 cent difference for me between the two where they're currently sitting. But I want to wait for a little bit more value to potentially fire up Houston. This one I don't think is going to be moving in our favor anytime soon. Does anybody want to run to the window to bet the White Sox right now? My guess is no. Interesting stuff here because coming into this show, this was going to be a lock on the St. Louis side. But that was assuming that with the rain out that we ended up having for St. Louis, that game gets rained out, that Sonny Gray would be making that start in Milwaukee. But a lot of the times, they want to move pitchers to the spot ahead of time. That is something that Major League Baseball teams, whether you know it or not, it's not like the pitchers just flying there. They get the starters. If you know that a starter is going every 6 days or 5 days, you fly them to the spot ahead of time. You make them comfy. You let them go through their routine where they wake up and they go through the dealio. And it becomes one of those things where if you have to change scenery the next day, you might get that pitcher and you might not. But sounds as though there's a little bit of conflicting information because Sonny Gray is listed at a lot of places. Lance Lynn is listed at a lot of places. As such, there's a huge range of outcomes difference between the two because I would love to back Sonny Gray here at anything close to -110. Anything remotely close to it. If it ends up being Lance Lynn, that's a stone cold disaster. So again, it will be voided at certain books. Always know your book's rules too, because there's spots where if it changes out, it's always important. And I bring it up all the time for FanDuel home runs specifically. But if it's Sonny Gray, fire this up anything remotely close to it. I understand Milwaukee has been top 3 in WRC plus against righties this season. Don't care. Sonny Gray, 33.3% K rate. If it ends up being Lance Lynn, hard, cold pass for me. In fact, I'll be actually looking at the Milwaukee side. I know that we get some strikeout stuff from time to time, but that's gone away for Lance Lynn. 20.9% K rate. Would be really looking to tee off against him. So huge discrepancy. As for the Milwaukee side, I do think we know who we end up getting there. Tobias Myers, who I had to go watch tape. Yeah, hashtag watch the tape. Go and do the stuff. I think he's somebody that you could definitely be investing in to a certain extent if you had Lance Lynn on the other side. He's kind of like right on that. It's so hard for me to like want to really, really go nuts in this spot on a Tobias Myers. If he's going up against Lynn, I'll probably just make that a like. But if it's Sonny Gray on the other side, there's at least enough evidence that you don't want to be like full sending this the same way we did Los Angeles and Pittsburgh. It would just be your standard 1-unit lock. So be looking at the news. Range of outcomes, huge thing. But St. Louis money line, making it a lean for the time being. Just walking through a couple of those potential spots again, we're not going to know till tomorrow morning probably. If you want to know what I do, hit me up at Eric Lindquist over on X. Happy to tell you. We've got a great opportunity to go look at Reed Detmers. That'll be here, who's on the mound in this spot. He's got some interesting K stuff where I think we could potentially back him up to 6-7 strikeouts against Kansas City, even though they don't strike out a whole hell of a lot here against Southpaws. I'm really liking the repertoire here right now for Reed Detmers. He's had some tough matchups throughout the beginning of the season here as well. And I understand, again, Kansas City not striking out a whole heck of a lot against the southpaw side of things. 19.3% K rate, but just a 79 WRC plus, definitely going to be some upside in that arm. As for the other side of this one, well, not nearly as good here on the Kansas City side with Michael Wacha. Wacha, 286 expected batting average, 18.9% K rate. But there's not really anybody to pick on him with on the Angels lineup without Trout there, without Ohtani there, for this entire year now. Looking pretty good in Dodger blue, that's for sure. But Michael Wacha, don't really know how I can attack him here in this spot. So I'm going to prop Reed Detmers in terms of Ks. Look at it. I'll say up to 6 for the time being. And then Bobby Witt Jr. to home run. I do think that the one thing that ends up being like a little bit of a misconception is, Eric wants to back Reed Detmers because of the Angels lineup, or he thinks he's really good. Yeah, I do. I think he's going to strike out a lot of these guys. Kansas City's lineup is really freaking good, and I expect better numbers against lefties going forward. And I think Bobby Witt is just the right kind of guy to do that. Only 5 home runs. He had his 5th here on on Wednesday it was. But here on Thursday, this is a great home run ballpark. Going to be taking a look for sure. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely 7-gamer we have here on Thursday. Thank you, producer Jacob. It's been a good run. Let's keep it going. No time to gloat. No time to praise or anything. Let's keep it going. That's what I want for all of us here. So with that said, check out BetMGM, check out OddsShopper. Would love to see you in that premium Discord. Again, promo code Lindy, 20% off. Get that first week to try it out for $12. That's less than $2 a day. See you there. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Thursday.